Coming up in this video, will I be able to finish populating the shelves of my library with a cold? I know, you probably didn't think he has a cold. The timbre of my voice might be a little bit different. 24 hours earlier. Welcome to vintagesf. I'm Richard Rempel, and today we're going to start populating these bookshelves back here with my library. Now, I think the way I'm going to start this is I'm going to do my A-size paperback. That might be also known as the mass market size paperbacks. What am I talking about? I'm talking about paperbacks that are these sizes. These are paperbacks that people used to put in their back pockets. There's even smaller sizes that sometimes we call rack size paperbacks that you particularly see from Ace. So people would put that in their pockets like we put phones in their pockets because they would take it out and read it on the bus or anywhere they were going. They could also put it into their jacket pockets for some of these paperback pocket sizes here. Now I understand that we may be seeing the end of paperback size or A format paperback size or mass market form paperback size because there is a distributor who doesn't distribute them anymore in the United States. And so if they can't get distributed, they won't be printed. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's going to change how we look at the paperbacks of the past, I think. All that to say, I want to start with populating my shelves here with the Ace science fiction specials from the 1960s and 70s and 80s, and then move on to putting the rest of my A-size paperbacks in the shelves. I'm going to start a time-lapse photography of this as well and show you how I do that. So I have the boxes behind me over here, and we'll get started on that. So I just want to show you the boxes down here that I'm going to be opening up. We have 8 boxes over here and then 2 boxes over there. These are cubic foot boxes, and these ones are a little bit bigger. They're 18 inches in length. So we'll get started with those. All right, so just a general view now of my A format or mass market format paperbacks. They actually fill up just about my entire 4x6 Kalex shelves here. So we start off with the A Science Fiction Specials Series 1. I have the entire series, and then we will have one item from Series 2. It's The Invincible by Stanislaw Lem. And then I've kept 7 of the 12 that come in Series 3. And most notable of that one is Neuromancer. Then I have John Wyndham collection, his early work here. And then I have this collection here that come from Penguin from the late 70s, early 80s. Then we move on to the best ofs. And that's a variety of publishers, but the primary one is the Ballantine Best Ofs. Those ones I've been reviewing off and on with Ira of SF Words of Wonder and Matt of Science Fiction Reads. Then we have a selection of Yellow Spine Daws, Greg Bear, Gregory Benford, and Jack McDevitt books. Starting here, we have the older A formats that I've collected, and there's kind of a little bit of variety in the size and the height of them. But we start here with A for Brian Aldiss, and we move on through the Bs all the way to the end with Brunner and Budrus and Bulmer. Then we go to C's with Scott Card and Arthur C. Clarke, continuing on. Down here we are getting to the H's, Heinlein, Hogan, continuing on, an omnibus of C.S. Lewis, Richard Matheson, Niven and Purnell. Going down to the 5th shelf and moving through here. That'll take us to the end of the S's and the bottom shelf. Continuing through to Van Vogt and Wilson. And then here at the end, I tacked on the trade paperback size John Wyndham novels and the Crown hardback copies, 10 of them, of some science fiction. I will do a proper library tour when it's my anniversary in April, but there you go. That's the setup for this part of the library. Next, I want to work on populating trade paperbacks and hardcovers in these shelves. There will be some A format size books that are anthologies. Well, it's 24 hours later, and you may hear a difference in the timbre of my voice. It seems like I got the moving cold. So I'm going to basically take it easy today, but when I can, I'm going to work in here and populate these shelves. We did yesterday bring the rest of the books here from the house. One of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to put some risers into these shelves and double up a couple of the A format or mass market paperback shelves. Then I want to put in there my science fiction masterworks and sort of have those collections all together, the A science fiction specials and the SF masterworks. When I'm ready to do this, I'll get the time-lapse photography going again, and we'll start doing some populating of both the 4x6 shelf and start working on the rest of the shelves here. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to you later. So what I want to do to start is put risers in the bottom 2 rows. Using 2 blocks of wood to support the riser. And then some of this material that was extra from IKEA that was used as the riser shelf for the back. Once I've done that, then I'll populate the 4 rows down into those 2. And there's a chance that I might use some of the second row from the top for my SF Masterworks, but I'll start by populating backwards my SF Masterworks, starting in the 3rd row from the bottom, then the 4th row, and then up into the 2nd row from the top if I need to. So here we go to time lapse. Well, that took a lot longer than it really should have. I kept on making mistakes about which shelf should go next. I mean, they're ordered alphabetically, but I would lose that back shelf and not realize there was a row in that back shelf. Anyway, they're all in there now. And now I want to unpack my SF Masterworks and populate these shelves with them. On to the next time lapse. So there it is, the first shelf, the 4x6, filled the bottom couple rows there are ones that are doubled up with a riser or mezzanine behind them. Then I have the SF Masterworks. And then at the very top, the Ace Science Fiction Specials and the Best of series of author collections. All right, now I have to plan for the next shelves. So now I'm going to tackle the 2x4 shelf right here. I'm going to use it still for publisher series that I like, and I'll start on the top even with the DAW Annual World's Best Of, and then I'll just populate down the shelf here with different publisher series. All right, so there's the basics. It's got publisher series, and it's also got anthologies, some of the classic ones. I'm leaving a little bit of room there, so if I find some more anthologies, I'll put them into there. For the rest of the shelf space, 12 spots on this side and 16 on the other side, I'm going to go alphabetically by author name, and I'll put both hardcovers and trade paperback in there. I'm not going to film that part for you, but I'll show you when it's done. All right, so this is the initial setup of my library. And also, coming across to the other side, you can see the books on this side as well. So I think that the bay idea did work. And we'll just take a look from inside the bay here. This is the area that I just set up. So we see the Gateway Omnibus editions over here. We see Nesfa Press, and we see all sorts of anthologies. And at the bottom over here, that's a Crown Publishing line of 10 small hardcovers of science fiction authors. Up here, I just threw together all the Neil Stephenson books. Also, these are kind of fun. These Star Trek readers. A couple different sections here that I am still collecting. Right here, this is called SF Rediscovery Series, Tor doubles, and these are the Ace doubles. This is the rest of the anthologies in paperback. And starting here with Brian Aldiss, I have the authors with hardcovers and trade paperbacks listed alphabetically. So Asimov, Ian M. Banks, and so on. As we go through, there's Bradbury. Continue down here, we can see the James S.A. Corey books, and all the way down to the bottom here. Now, I do have one shelf here where I have my biographies and books about science fiction and interviews. And as well as that, I have some of my graphic novels, ones that I actually want to reread. Coming around to the other side, I have a couple miscellaneous shelves here right now, but this is back to the alphabet and the authors. So I will do, as I've said before, I plan to have a library tour for my 3rd anniversary in April. Now back to the desk, and I'm just going to start to learn how to set up this view here. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the move. I know there's lots of changes that still will happen, but the majority, the big stuff, is done now. Once again, thanks to Salty Walt for the suggestion of this bay kind of area here. It was a good use of the bookshelves, especially doubling up on this side here with the books. I hope that might have given you some ideas for your own home library. I'd love to hear about your libraries or some comments of how I could maximize what I have here. Until next time, love those books and keep reading those books.